Hello and welcome to Cinema Express. My name is Ram Venkat Srikar. Today we have with us editor Raviteja Girijala. If you have seen any good Telugu films in recent times, like all the talked about Telugu films like Pelli Chupulu, Care of Kancharapalam, E Nagaraniki Emaindi, were all edited by him. Now here we are to talk about his latest release, Ante Sundaraniki. Hello, Ravi.
Hi.
How are you? How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So before getting into Ante Sundaranki or any of your films, can you tell us where this fascination for editing emerged from?
So when I'm studying my 12th, I think 12th,
Hmm.
around that time, I was very much interested in films. I don't know why,
Okay.
but I thought like I wanted to get into films. I
Hmm.
have this idea in my mind. Like I
Hmm.
strongly believe that I will go to films and I'll do films.
Hmm.
So after that, I joined engineering. From the
Hmm.
right first day itself, I thought I'm going to do films. So let's start
Okay.
whatever I could do. I started watching all the films I can. And
Uh,
then the only thing at that point of time is I have a laptop. So I
okay.
started editing as the beginning. I started doing title animations, small things. So
Movie
getting into,
Maker, Windows Movie
yeah,
Maker. Okay.
movie maker, After Effects and all I learned from
Oh,
beginning
okay.
it
Huh.
started itself.
Okay.
So movie
Huh.
maker, small videos I used to do.
Huh.
And in the whole engineering time, I did like three short films. And in the process of doing that, I was doing the whole writing, directing, all those things myself itself with my friends and all. We used to go and
Hmm.
shoot these things.
Hmm.
Um, because of the very short films and all, no, you don't have money and all. So you spend a very little time shooting the film. So the
Yeah.
lot of time I have is sitting in the room and editing it. So I used to
Yeah.
spend for even 15 minutes short film. I used to spend like 2 3 months. What else you can do in the edit and all.
Two,
So
3 months for a 15-minute short film.
yeah. So what all I can do?
Okay.
So I have a lot of time. So what will I do? I don't have money to go out and shoot more. So I used to do all kinds of stuff with the footage I have. So
Huh.
I understood what's important, what's not important. So then I got interested. Like whenever I put those short films outside, people used to appreciate my editing than my other skills.
Oh,
So I thought,
okay.
so okay, I thought okay, the filmmaking as a craft. I thought like I have a little bit of edge towards this craft.
Okay.
Uh, so then I thought of after engineering, I thought I don't have any contacts in industry. My parents and
Hmm.
all are and usually in film industry you need context to get into industry. So
Right. Right.
and one two people whom I spoke in the industry also, they said like, why editing, why specifically editing you want to go, you can do
Hmm.
anything else, no? And
Right.
all these things said, but as usual we don't listen, no? When you want to get into films you have this attitude of, no, I know
Yeah.
what I'm doing and all. So I went to film school actually.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
got into film school, LV Prasad Film School, Chennai. There I
Oh,
got
Chennai.
1 year.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah. So for
Hmm.
1 year I studied there,
Hmm.
editing and sound design. Then I got
Hmm.
like, so till that point I was like, before getting into film school, I was like, I thought this was interesting. Let's learn something. In that idea only I went. So once I went there and I started seeing the whole, even understanding more about this craft, I understood like, okay, I can take this as a serious profession.
Right.
uh, get into, not just like I'll do editing for some time and get into directing and all. So I thought like, okay, I can do this as a seriously. There is a lot of work for me to do in a creative
Hmm.
side. So yeah, that's how I started.
Wow. Nice. So, like you said, you already had hands-on experience of editing even those short films, right? When you got into film school, you must have been exposed to more theoretical aspects of editing. Tell me, how did that help you? How did that change your perspective towards editing, that academic perspective?
So in film school, LV Prasad, we have our professor is Ranjit Shankaran. So what he used to
Okay.
do is, rather than spending more time on theory, he used to give us a lot of footage.
Okay.
Uh,
Hmm.
so mostly practical only. So what we used to do is like we have 10 people in the class. Like 10
Hmm.
people are given the
Oh,
same
okay.
footage, and 10 people are editing the same scene. So once I finished my editing, I used to check what all other people are doing. So usually this won't happen. So usually when you're
Right.
editing, you don't know what else we can do with this footage. So
Right.
when you have other 10 people, you can check all other people and see what they have done better or what they are not doing in the right way. So and our professor, he'll go to all the students, and he'll give them the feedback according to their own style. If each one has a different style of looking at things, looking at the same scene. So then I understood, like, oh, all these are nuanced, very nuanced, and you can make it as a you can have a little bit of voice in all those things.
Okay.
So it's very individual preferences actually. So according to individual preferences, what they look into the shot, how they perceive the story and all, the whole edit will change. So that's what I learned in the mainly I learned in the film school.
So if you look at your filmography with Pelli Choopulu, Broche Varavurura, Falak Namadas, Care of Kancharapalam, more recently Skyla, Pushpak Vimanam, we don't ever see your name associated with the template commercial entertainer, you know, that trademark template that you have. Why do you think is that? Are you more inclined towards these quirky new age films, or why is that?
I think it's not about me. It's about the industry usually. Like what they'll
Okay.
prefer is, if they're doing new films, they'll get new films to you. So if they're
Okay.
like, I am associated with my first three films are Pelli Chuklu, Inaran came in the Care of
Yeah.
Kanjarpalam. So
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
outlook will be, this guy will do this kind of films. So
Right.
probably people will prefer me when they are doing these kind of films. They're like new age films, like they want to do something new in terms of craft or something like that. They are approaching me, which is good for me because I enjoy those kind of films. So in a way, I'm lucky that I am associated with those films in the beginning of my career, and I am keep on getting or meeting new directors, very talented people, so that my associations are, my learning process is increasing by film by film. And it's not like I enjoy mainstream also. So, but I as I didn't do that, nobody will come to me with a new, like proper commercial film or something like that.
So I want to understand this from you. Do you? But this is what I think. The skill set to edit, be it an out and out masala racy entertainer, and to edit a sober, calm, and more emotional film like Care of Kancharapalam, I believe the skill set is the same. One needs what the skill set one needs is it's the same skill set. How do you observe a film? Is that how it is?
It's the, as I told you, it's the preference of, like, when you see a story, how reactive you are. So if you are reacting, like if you enjoy both type of films, you can edit both type of films. At the end of it, you should enjoy that kind of film. I enjoy Care of Kancharapalam, so I can edit it. If you are a person who doesn't enjoy, who doesn't like that kind of slow paced or like story based, why there is so much stay, all these things, no, these all tell the story, no.
Right.
Or you are a person who doesn't enjoy that racy cuts or something like that, or to the point, the story, the way the story is being told, certain kind of stories, some people are not really into those kind of stories.
Right.
So, but the skill set is same, as you said, the skill set is same. It's just a preference. Like you are reactive to some things, no. Some people doesn't feel like, some people, if they see in our game and all, they'll say that why is it so slow? But I didn't feel that way when I was cutting it. That's why I cut that way, because I could see the emotion there. For that time, if you don't stay for that much time, the emotion won't work for me. So the cut is based on, rather than skill, it's about the how you react to it, or to certain material, like certain film, if you're so that's the thing.
So recently we interviewed the great Srikar Prasad for Triple R after the release of Triple R. Then he said something very interesting that when he sees the rushes of a film, even if it's a Maniratnam film, when he sees the rushes, if he finds any glitches, for instance, a performance of an actor or something, he would suggest those to Maniratnam to just keep a check on that particular aspect, like if they need to correct it or if they need to rectify it. So the editor, in a way, kind of influences a film when it is under production as well, as opposed to what we think once it's done, the editor is the one who saves the film. Ala kakunda, even when a film is under production, editors' inputs kind of influence how the film shapes up. So, how do you collaborate with your directors? Do you give them feedback while seeing rushes, and has that ever happened that that has been incorporated and the film has changed?
That usually when we get the rush, no, the
Hmm.
first 2 days, usually most
Hmm.
of the directors like these new, like who are the new to, who are doing their first films and all, they'll usually
Hmm.
call, like they'll usually call
Okay.
and ask how the rush is going, like how
Hmm.
are we doing any mistakes and all. Most of the
Hmm.
people nowadays are doing that. They
Hmm.
themselves are calling us and asking like how do you find the film?
Right.
Is there anything off or something like that? More like
Right.
whenever we say something, they'll like some directors will take our inputs, like in terms of
Hmm.
performances or in terms of visually.
Hmm.
There are few issues in the here. We I don't see this is working or something like that. So if we say
Hmm.
that, they'll and more than that, I was most of the directors I constantly collaborate with. They are actually discussing the story with me before itself.
Okay.
So
Hmm.
we are discussing like this the script and all. Even for this Ante Sundaraniki, I got the script like even before the production, like 6 months to 1 year before itself. I have the first draft.
Oh.
I read the. We are discussing the idea, what
Hmm.
all are working, what is the pace in which the story. Is there any
Hmm.
drops in the whole thing and all? Like little bit
Okay.
of discussion. If I spend too much time in it, then I'll be indulged in it also. So I prefer
Okay.
like at least one discussion is good, at least for me to get
Okay.
an idea what kind of film, is
It's
there
going to
anything I
be.
can add, uh,
Hmm.
uh, at least I can add in the script level itself, so that it will help the film.
So we were talking about your association with filmmakers, and I saw an interview of yours, an older interview of yours, where you said Vivek Athreya's writing process is quite different, and that he writes a lot. His script is very informative. So when you read his script, and even in Ante, it's a very complicated script. The timeline keeps jumping back and forth. The narrators keep changing. Did you find it complicated, the screenplay?
Definitely, the screenplay is very complicated in Ante Sundaraniki.
Hmm.
I think in all his films, that's the unique thing about him, to tell
Hmm.
a story in a very non-linear way. It's almost like it's coming out of his head. You can't
Yeah.
really structure it properly.
Yeah.
Like you can't easy to find what's going to happen next. That's what keeps you hooked in the whole film.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's very, and he writes a lot. He has so many interesting ideas he wants to put into the film. Even if you
Hmm.
see the title itself, even if from the poster, from the first poster itself, you can see a lot of things in the title. He wants
Yeah.
to tell the
Yeah.
story everywhere.
Yeah.
Whatever the shot he wants to tell the story in it. It's not like
Yeah.
he just wants to put one shot. So
Yeah.
he'll do so it's packed. It's like so much into one single thing. So for us, like for me to the whole beauty of this film is the detailing. There is so much detail
Right.
in the film that everything has a payoff. So that was very beautifully written. So you can't
Yeah.
just take out those details to uh, cut it down. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that's the major challenge for us. And when we got the first cut, like when we placed the whole film, we got like
Hmm.
4 hours film.
Wow.
So
Okay.
with all this detailing, we
Uh,
have like 4 hours. So from that, we got it to like 256. This itself is a very
uh,
challenge. It's not like we got a 3 hour film and we just kept it like 3 hours. So this whole non-linear narrative, to get that 4 hours to 3 hours without losing any details and without losing any interesting
hmm.
things in the film. So that's the very big challenge for us, because it's a non-linear thing. Even if you take out something, no, there will be
Hmm.
some in somewhere else you'll feel why did this come. So it's
Okay.
like that. So the scenes are written that way. So it's very tough for us
Yeah.
to take out something. And it's not just that whole only comedy. If it's only comedy means we can do all these things. There is a
Right.
sensitive
Yeah.
lot of sensitive things happening in the film. To feel that
Hmm.
sensitivity, you have to relate to all the characters. The
Yeah.
characters are
Yeah.
complex, they are flawed, they are, you'll feel a lot of emotions with them.
Yeah.
So all of these things to work, you need time to spend with them. It's not about
Yeah.
hero or heroine, it's about their families. all characters have a beautiful, you can literally feel them when you come out of the theater, like you can see them as a rounded characters.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Wow.
for them to feel that, you can just remove few details about those characters, you won't feel that roundness. You'll feel that, okay, arrogant father, or you can just stereotype the characters.
Yeah, but they are not caricatures. They are, when the angry, even the father might be always angry and irritated, but you see him getting an emotional moment and how much he cares for this. And even I like that the boss's character, man. Even Harshvardhan's
Yeah,
character. Film is. So tell me, when you have this 4 hours of footage, like you said, it was challenging for you to chop it down. How did you chop it down? Did you remove chunks of it, or did you cut the length of each scenes, making them more dynamic? How did you get away
so
with the remaining 1 hour footage?
so the major challenge for us is like, it this film is not fitting into any other film which you can have a reference for. So that's the major challenge for us.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
any other story, no, you can have a reference point, like, okay, this is how they did, no, we'll
Uh,
try to use those ideas in our film. So this is
hmm.
too much non-linear, and you are like, going, first you are introducing the hero for like 30 minutes, and then you are going to
Yeah,
heroine, you're breaking the narrative. Whenever you
yeah,
break the narrative, you feel the length,
yeah,
and you're coming back. Whenever you come back, you'll feel the length. Even though it's
yeah.
not that lengthy, you'll feel it. There is a thing like, okay, it's so, so all those things, no. And the one more thing is, for us, when we have this 4 hour thing and all, like, uh, the the I personally believe editing is like combination of everything. You
Hmm.
the material, no, the cinematography, the dialogues, the writing, everything you have to combine and make the best out of it.
Hmm.
So for that you need time. It's not like you just go to plot point, beat to beat, and because if you take as a plot, this is not a very interesting plot. You know that you can understand the
It's
plot
a
very
very
simple.
familiar plot. We all know
Very
the plot.
simple
Yeah,
thing. How you tell it, or what's the details in it, is what makes it unique.
yeah,
You can't
yeah.
lose it without, when you're cutting it down, you can't lose it. So when we are doing this, and usually there are these things, no, you can't
Hmm.
have, when hero and others are the main people in the story. You want to see Nani
Yeah,
and Nazriya. You can't put
yeah,
a lot of time on the kids. We know
yeah,
that, but that's what makes it unique. That's
yeah.
what makes this
Exactly.
film unique and interesting. Uh, we all know from the beginning itself, okay, this will be a problem, because he's a star hero and she's a star heroine. When people expect them to, like, people are expecting them to see them. But this is the story we have. This story has to be told in a certain way, and you can't just jump into them and cutting down the whole part, because all those details have payoffs in terms of dialogues, and all those are linked. Even
Yeah.
if you see the climax of the film, the mother, the every character plays a role in making the decision.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you
Hmm.
just can't remove one character and make them bad, or make them
Yeah.
suddenly come out of.
Nowhere.
So so that's a very tough decision for us. So
Hmm.
we all, so when it's coming that long, no, so I
Hmm.
sat for like 10-15 days, and I did a 2 hour 40 minute cut, so that
Oh.
let's see what I can do and all. But that felt like there is no emotion in it, and it looks like an action film, like sub it going from one to another, like
Uh,
keep on talking, people are talking. So
hmm.
then we came to like 3 hour 20 minute, and then so there are a lot of versions for us. Like we
Oh.
literally sat, me and Vivek sat for like 3 months on the edit table and did all the
Wow.
permutations we could do, because it's not easy to give a clear, not missing the clarity and follow the narrative, no? So
Hmm.
this is not like, so that's what happens when, like, I usually have a feeling when I see some films, no, I can see that it was chopped down. Like you see this
Hmm.
lengthy films, you hear the something like this only, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
this one that came out lengthy. You'll
Yeah.
hear the news and you see the film, you'll feel
Yeah.
like they did something in this thing and they rushed things. So we don't want
Hmm.
that to happen here, because this is a sensitive film. This is like
Yeah.
heavy film, no, you can do that. Even if you lose some things, it's okay. It's a sensitive film. If you remove those things, and you can, if you remove those things, you lose the sensitivity and the originality of the film. So it's better to go with that than lose whatever the originality we have.
So Ravi, I'm not telling this just because I'm interviewing you right now, but I felt Ante Sundaraniki didn't feel like a 3 hour film at all. After Sarpata Parambarai, which released last year, Sarpata Parambarai was probably the first film in years that I watched on my laptop because it was an OTT release. That was one rare film that I watched the entire length without checking my phone for 3 hours in my home. And Ante Sundaraniki was one film that did not feel like a 3 hour film at all.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah, so congrats for that, man. I'm not saying this just as a compliment. It did not feel
thank
like
you.
a 3 hour film, to be honest. So
Yeah.
tell me, how different were the 3 hour 20-minute versions and the 2 hour 40-minute versions? What were the chunks that you were trying to get rid of?
The thing is, same thing. Like the usually, like we have a scenes, we have theory like 2 to 3 minutes is the maximum length of the scene. If you
Oh,
see in Anta
okay.
Sundaraki, we have like 6 minute scenes,
Six.
five, six,
Yeah, yeah,
like we already crossed everything. Like
yeah,
like 3 minutes is like a normal length of a normal
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
So all breaking everything. We are so when you are going into this unknown territory, so it's really
Hmm.
tough to make those calls. And so we all the sequences, and Vivek wants to like he literally pulled the drama out of each and everything, like from each
Yeah,
character. Wherever you
yeah,
can feel the tension, he wants to pull it and put it in the film.
yeah,
So in the 3 hour 20 minutes, we have even other sequences to tell this even in a interesting fashion. So there are the same sequence will be even 1 minute, 2 minute lengthier. So
okay.
that is also funny. That those things are also working. But at that point of time, maybe we have to decrease it. Is what we felt, and because he's a very good writer, he's writing a lot of good lines, and all of
Yeah,
those are working. When you see it as a separate thing, it will work.
yeah.
So, and there are few interesting things which we couldn't put. Like there are few interesting sequences which he did, like before when they go to Rahul Ramakrishna place.
Huh. Hmm.
It's when the manager says you need a miracle for this to happen. There is an
Yeah.
interesting sequence actually which leads to Rahul Ramakrishna, which we cut down,
Oh,
which we directly
okay.
went to Ram Ramakrishna. That is a very
Okay.
interesting sequence, like
Huh.
where the Nazriya tries to cook one dish at the same time,
Oh.
and give it to Prithvi, like it's a kakarkai
Huh.
garam. So which is
Oh.
very dear to this Nani's family. So which she tells, like there is a whole convincing thing happens in the before we reach to Ral Ramakrishna. So which we have to cut down because of the length issues. So that whole sequence is working. Probably they'll release it as a deleted scene, but yeah,
Hmm.
that whole there is a nice interesting sequence happens. And also there is a point where in the film that whole Nadia takes Nazriya to pregnancy test and all. No?
Hmm.
So in that sequence also there is a even more scene, one more scene in where when he's going by car to hospital and all. Uh, uh, when he goes hospital and all, there is a police guy who
Hmm.
pulls Nani out of the car, tells him to
Okay.
wait when he has to when he's supposed to go to hospital and all. And in this whole confusion, he will say that, and he'll again lie actually to the
Oh.
police,
Hmm.
that my Bama is not feeling well. I have to go. I all these things he'll again lie. Uh,
Oh.
that's a very interesting sequence. Like when I read the script also, I felt that was very, because uh, and he lies and he'll go in the car and he'll stop the car and he'll come back immediately, run to the police, and he'll say, "This is all a lie. Please don't stop me. I have to go." So this is the point where the character actually closes. That's a
Okay.
very interestingly written. Uh, till now he lied to everybody. This is
Yeah.
the point where he actually it tells the truth. He lies and he
Yeah.
realizes maybe this. What if this all come true? But the simple thing is it's lengthy. That's all. That's why we removed it. When he writes a detail, he's trying to pull that detail throughout the film till the end. So you can't remove one detail. Like if there is a ladybird cycle, you can remove the ladybird cycle scene. But ladybird is where he meets that
Nazriya,
Nazriya,
such
and
younger. Hmm.
she tells him like, no, don't worry. there is nothing to feel ashamed about and all. That's the first thing, that they both are connected. So you can't remove the
That,
scene there. So all these things are, every detail has a payoff, like, and that is the subtle hint to the whole importance thing in the beginning itself.
girl.
So when you're writing in this style, no, you can't just take out things. So we
Wow.
tried everything. We tried all those
Uh,
combinations and see, like each and the major challenge is to make it feel clear and organic. That's the main thing we have. So that I think we pulled off somehow.
wow. So one of the most interesting things for me was the scene where Nani takes his mother to watch his billboard, and he says to Leela that his mom will, if his mom is really proud, then she will have tears in her eyes. Even if that scene wasn't there, in the end, when Rohini tears up, the meaning of the scene would have been different. It would have still
Yeah.
been like the mom is feeling content with her son. But since you have this setup, that payoff lands
Yeah.
even more.
Even
Even
more.
without that setup, that the emotion would have still been there, but this enriches that. So I liked choices like those. Tell me about. So I was talking to Vivek also about this thing. There are two sequences. There are two times, two instances when Sundar throws a powder dabba at Tadastu
Yeah.
Devatalu. That you guys treat that those two scenes like they are an epic. Like there is so much happening. You see the younger, you see the kid throwing the
Yeah.
blankets away, the dabba away, and you see Nani on scooter. He's falling from the scooter. It's treated like an epic scene with intercuts between multiple timelines. Tell me, why do you choose to flow it?
I think it's written that way. I think
Hmm.
to increase the momentum, like that's the core thing that which happens. No, Tadasu Devalla are the
Yeah,
main
yeah,
thing in the film. You, if you tell it as an information, it won't feel as a
yeah,
major conflict in the film. At that point, you won't find it why they showed it that way. But at the end only, you will know everything as a setup payoff kind of thing. But you have to wait and take the
yeah.
setup till you feel that, oh, that's why they did this thing. So, but that those are very to make, because, and I think one more, that was a very director's choice only, why they
Okay.
wanted to do it. But I felt
Hmm.
from, as this is a very conversation kind of film, you need visual movements to pump up the story
Enhance.
suddenly, and
Yeah.
you have like this lengthy runtime and all. You need
Hmm.
sequences like this to feel you that high
Yeah.
sudden. So these kind of sequences actually made that, made sure that okay, you feel that way.
So, were there any scenes or sequences from the film that when you read the script you felt, oh God, how is this going to look on screen? Did any sequence made you feel that? Because I heard, because Vivek was telling me that he wrote sequences in a way that intercuts between one scene to the other. Like, be it the scene where Nani, Sundar, and Soumya convince the
Yeah.
boss and the father, and towards the end where Leela's mom takes her to get a pregnancy test. This guy
Yeah.
is and Sundar is running from pillar to post from his house to, he goes to his grandmother to check whether Tadastu Devdalu is a real
Yeah. Yeah.
thing. There is so much happening, right? Were these all written or was the tension enhanced in the editing? And how much was your contribution in that?
So mostly like for the boss sequence, convincing Bama and all, those things are written that way. But the
Hmm.
point is to get the timing right is very tough for us to get the timing right, because the whole
Hmm.
comedy and all won't work if it is happening uh, in a different, like if you cut it fast, the whole comedy won't work or something like that will happen.
Right.
In the same way, uh, the pregnancy sequence, that took a lot of time for us to crack. As I was telling you, we removed some of the details,
Right.
some of the So for us to get that, and there is even more conversations in the with the mother and also, which we have to remove. Whenever we are removing that, it's tough for us to maintain that organically flow the dialogue. So those things, no. So it's really this whole film, no. You can't separate me and Vivek who did this choice. Because we
Writing
literally
and
said
editing.
we
Yeah.
are fighting like, no, we have to remove this or we have to put this at all. So it's like very collaborative, very like, even when we took it to music and the music comes and we are syncing the whole thing to perfect timing to the music. So everything we are doing. So that's why you are feeling that synergy of like the whole thing is working as a unison, no, as an orchestrated thing.
Yeah.
That's all we are able to pull off because of the team thing.
So, like you said, were there times when you had to tweak a scene, the timing of a scene, so Vivek Sagar could adjust his score? Did that happen?
Yeah. For all the Tawad sequence, we have to time it to the music and all, no. And we know that it's whenever we are repeating the sequence, it will feel long. So we are even trimming it down. The thing is, like, even Niket's cinematography and all, no, there is you need a breathing space for the shots to work. So you can't cut them brutally. Like if you cut them brutally, the emotion won't work. So there is you need it certain timing for it. So it's not like a regular shots, because the slow tracking, slow that whole thing, no. So for all those things, you need to understand every other craft, other whatever the other artists are bringing to you, and make the choice. So I think like so Vivek Sagar and all, like, we multiple times we send it to music and music comes to us, and again we take the edit. So all those, that's why it took a lot of time for us to
put it together.
Things. Yeah.
Okay. So I've seen interviews of multiple directors who said that Raviteja Girijala is a brutal person and it is very hard to impress him. Is that true?
It's nothing like that. Like, I enjoy films that are, but I think the problem is all these filmmakers I work with, they have a lot of voice. They wanted to, they themselves are very creative in terms of edit choices. They understand. So you need a lot of discussion and all to make a choice. So you can't just cut it and tell them like, okay, this is how it will work. So they know a lot of things about edit. So they'll ask a lot of, they themselves bring a lot of creative, like Vivek knows a lot about editing. That's why he could implement that in the writing stage itself. So,
right.
Yeah, I try to be, I don't want to, like, if I say everything is good, no, they won't let me cut the film. So I have to be, I really enjoy those films, but I have to be very critical of my choices, no. So that's it.
Now speaking of being critical, for a film like Ante Sundaraniki, which you said that you have been with the film for a few months, you had the script, almost the first draft of the script nearly a year ago. How do you stay objective towards this film? After, I'm sure you must have seen the film 100 times during edit, right? Does the humor work for you every time? And how do you be objective that, okay, I'm going to cut this? Even after watching it 100 times, I'm like, okay, this is not working, this is working. Don't you lose that judgment after a point?
Usually, yeah, that will happen. That's why what I feel is, like, whenever we see the rush, no, if the comedy is working, then the comedy is working.
What you see the first time?
First time, whatever you are feelings are, no, like when you're seeing the scenes are working. Yeah, when the scenes are working, then I understood, like, when the scenes are working, I shouldn't spend too much time on detailing the scene. I have to see the flow, because we have bigger issues, because the flow is a bigger issue than the scene, no. So time to time I take breaks, not to watch the film as a flow, so that I'll work on the scene wise, whatever the director me are discussing on the scenes and all. We'll do all those changes, but in a flow, I don't want to spend too much time watching multiple times. Like, I want to take breaks at least 2-3 days, so that I can watch it with a fresh mind. So that because if you see in the morning once and evening once, the next day you won't find any difference, like what's. That breaks I'll take. Usually I'll tend to distance myself from the film and see, like, whether the flow, how the flow, how I felt after, like.
Okay. What's your favorite scene in Ante Sundaraniki?
Ante Sundaraniki.
Hmm.
like I like the father confrontation between father and Nani.
After the interval, that 6 minute
Yeah,
sequence.
6 minutes. That is
Yeah, yeah,
hilarious. Like second half, I like a lot of scenes. Like even the cycle sequence where he goes out and
yeah,
that sequence, that thing, restaurant, uh,
yeah,
whole family sits there, and
yeah.
so all those things are like I enjoyed a lot. That's why maybe I kept it for 3 years, maybe. So
I know, right? Because 3 hours is not actually considered an ideal runtime for
yeah,
a
yeah.
rom-com. But again, this is
Rom-com.
yeah. Will we ever see your name in an out and out masala film where 10 guys fly? Will we ever see Raviteja Girijala being associated with the conventional entertainers?
Yeah, you might. I don't know. Like if they ask me, I'll definitely interested in doing those. I want to see what I can do in those kind of films also, because I haven't done much.
Yeah.
So I'm new to that space. Maybe I'll try to do something new in that space. I'll try to see wanted to do something interesting in that space also. So
Hmm.
that definitely I wanted. Like if they and for some films, if there is a story infused into this whole commercial aspect, it will be even better. So like
Right.
so as long as that is there, like as long as there is if a commercial film which is crafted, which I really love to work.
Hmm.
So which they wanted to use craft as a main thing, not just a hero. Hero is
Yeah.
there, and
Right.
also the craft which they want to use. They want to use shots. They want to use cuts. There recently there are a lot of filmmakers who are trying to do that.
Yeah. What does it take for a script to, like, if you have to greenlight a script, if you have to say yes to a script, what do you look for it in?
Which keeps me excited when I read the script. No, if it's
Hmm.
excites me, I'm like, okay, this is something. There is a soul. I find a soul in it, and which as a story, I'm satisfied. I'll do. It's not like it's a new
Hmm.
or old story. As long as it's keep me excited, like, okay, this is something I'm interested in.
Okay, so personal choice. It is what excites you as an audience or as an
Excited
editor.
as an audience.
Okay, okay.
Not even if it's a simple love story. If I feel convinced that okay, this is a good love story, it's a good story, I'll be interested. As long as it's if I felt like okay, this is nice movie that I can be a part of, I'll definitely.
So I'm sure the word crisp must be a word that you hate. All the editors in the world hate that word crisp. So when you read reviews that says editing could have been crisp, or the editor could have chopped easily another 20 to 25 minutes, when the reviewer just gives that judgment that okay, 20 minutes from this film should have been removed, does it anger you?
In the from the beginning itself, I got those reviews. So now I'm used to it. Now I'm not looking into the reviews about me. As long as somebody say something nice, only
Hmm.
I'm taking it,
Hmm.
because it's really difficult to judge editing, because
Yeah,
people doesn't
it's
know what happens there. No, is it a writing choice? Is it like why they put it is because of lot of choice. It's not like one guy's thing.
yeah.
Even for me to judge good editing or bad editing, it's tough, because
Hmm.
it could be because of a lot of reasons. So yeah, those things, it's not as long as the film gets a good review, I'm very happy, because if the film is good, if you're liking it, that means editing is good. Otherwise, it won't happen.
Hmm. Nice. What's next for you, Ravi? What's happening?
Next time, looking forward like to work with my directors only, whomever I was working, collaborating for the past. I'm
Hmm.
waiting for them to start their films. So
Films
that's the
again.
thing. So that's the
Okay.
main
Thanks for
thing.
the time. I had a really good time talking to you. Thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you.